Welcome to Bracket in Session. I am your host Alejandro, or Mexi as I'm known in the Smash community. In this show, special guests and myself analyze and nerd out about Smash Bros. Ultimate, its competitive meta, or major performances in our local scene. In this episode, we'll discuss Samus and Dark Samus from the Metroid series, how to play them, how to beat them, and more. I suggest you grab your favorite drink, relax, and enjoy the show, as Bracket is now in session. Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. It's good to have everyone here. So this episode is about a very polarizing character, I think. So we'll be talking about Samus, and to join me and talk about them is NoTechNeek at the bottom. You can see wearing a very fancy suit, and we've Kenny or Fierce up at the top left. So how have you been, gentlemen?
Yeah, I've been good. Let's see. Doing night shifts, playing Smash Bros, catching up with friends. I'm taking it easy. I've got a week off before I go back to work next Friday. So yeah, it's been good.
Oh, good timing, hey?
Yeah, I've also been pretty good. I've just moved to the US, so kind of been like getting used to things over here. I mean, it's currently like 6 p.m. at night, so I'm up for this and then probably go out to dinner or something.
That sounds fair. That sounds like a good idea.
How is, because you compete in the US, right? How is that?
Yeah, a little bit. I think there's a lot of differences. I mean, well, there are a lot of subtle differences, but I think the main difference is Steve is not banned, which has been taken quite a little bit of getting used to, I think. It's been so long, I think, since I versed that character. But I think, competitive Smash here is like very good. It's really great to like jump online, and I think in Australia when you jump online you kind of see like the same couple of people like off and on, but I feel like here, at least every time I've been on, it's just like different people, different characters, just like over and over again, which has been really nice to get experience with. So yeah,
there's a lot more players online over there. I feel like when you jump on here you're gonna get like, I don't know, not to call out anyone, but like you'll get the Stig on Ganon or Me Brawler, or you might get Woodkins, or you might get one of DD's alt accounts.
Yeah, it's definitely very repetitive for sure here.
So
yeah, that having been said, I am on like in quite a small little Smash community. Like I'm not in one of the bigger areas, so the tournaments feel very local and very friendly, which I've been I really enjoy. So
that's good. So before we get to talking about you guys as a main, I would encourage you both to give an overview of like how you got started with the game, especially from from casual to like just starting out, and then how you got right now. Because I think both of you, Nick, you're what, top 25 in Vic, and Kenny, when you were here, you were like 17th or something, or maybe even higher.
Yeah, fluttering around a little bit, kind of like that, like 25. I think my peak was like 12, but like 25 to 12. Yeah, around about there.
That's pretty good. I guess Nick, you can go first if you want.
Yeah. In terms of where I started, I played up, with my two brothers growing up playing Smash Bros. Just casually. When I started at uni at Monash, they had a recreational library upstairs, and everyone would gather around every day to play Smash 4. I was using a Wiimote solo back then, and I chose Samus. Like, I used to play Samus when my brother was a lot anyways growing up, because Charge Shot was broken, and it was easy, and I was a very lazy player. And that held true. I won a lot with Samus, even in Smash 4. I did okay with my solo Wiimote. It was easy, it was fun, it was good. And after COVID, I moved away from like Monash a bit more. I was graduated, started playing a bit more on Vic Smash and competing. And yeah, now I just compete every now and then between my shifts. And yeah, still in that like top 20 range.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What is the difference between like Vic Smash and like Monash? Like, that's JML, right? Because I think those are two like very separate communities.
They JML started out more like very casual. They did have a competitive thing, but it was a ladder. Was it ladder? Yeah, no, not ladder. Sorry, it was a Swiss tournament. So they would have just like one match a week, best of 5, and then you'd play someone who had the same score as you like next week, essentially. So it was made more friendly for beginners, so that was nice, and it wasn't as like stressful, like playing different people. You just have to focus on one matchup each week, so you can prep a lot more for it. So it was good. It was a lot more chill. Vix Smash is definitely a lot more like competitive, and like you go into your first tournament, like okay, I do so well at JM League. I'm like middle of the pack. You go to your first tournament, you just go 0-2. It's like damn, I have a long way to go.
Yeah, definitely relatable. And then how'd you get better? When you started out, did you also go 0-2 at your first tournament, or how'd you get from
I did okay.
to now?
How did I get better? Well, I stopped using a Wiimote. Like obviously, going from Smash 4 to Ultimate. I did try and use Solo Joy-Con, but that was definitely not the same. And then I found what a tilt stick was, and that was beautiful and made my gameplay much more better. But in terms of getting better, like especially in the early days of like Vix Smash and coming out of COVID, like you wanted to grind more, you wanted to win more, getting any like good win or going like from 0-2 to 1-2 to 2-2. So like just playing the game a lot, like asking for advice, learning how to do movement was a big one for Samus because like once I figured out how to wave bounce, I was doing it all the time. So that was good fun as well. But yeah, that's definitely like one way that I improved is just playing the game a lot, you know? It's the only way to practice. And as much as I try and do it every day, like it's level 9 CPUs, it does not compare to playing with your friends in person at your local tournament.
Yeah, that's much better for sure. What about you, Kenny?
Yeah. So I think kind of similarly, Smash for me was something like growing up like with my brother a lot. So I would like play Melee like way back in the day, and we were just kind of like super casual, you know, like I think you want to unlock all the characters, like play classic mode a bunch, you know, do all that kind of stuff. Then Brawl as well. I used to fiend like that boss battle thing they used to have, and I love like Subspace Emissary and all of that. Yeah, I was like a huge fan of like that super casual kind of you know, just at home playing the game, you know, no online Wi-Fi, whatever, you know, you just play with who's next to you and your friends and like your siblings and yeah, that was kind of my like Melee and Brawl kind of days. I actually back then I played like a lot of like Sheik in Melee. And then I ended up playing Zelda in Brawl, which so what actually happened was I basically skipped over all of Smash 4. I just didn't own like any of the consoles that Smash 4 was on at the time, and that was kind of like my year 12 to early uni kind of days. So when Smash Ultimate came out, I was like, you know, I should, you know, I'm going to get a Switch, I'm going to start playing it. You know, I have my own income now, so I can start doing all of that. So yeah, I got Smash Ultimate on release. I actually did start the game on Zelda, which was kind of awful. There are still people in the community that might recognize my tag from when I used to play like a very Wi-Fi like B button only Zelda online. But yeah, that was basically like my intro to Smash Ultimate. And yeah, from there, I had a friend who was like just casually saw some advertisements around. I don't know where, but we ended up going to the tournament in Maryland's, which was the Battle Cat Bunker tournaments way back then, and it was like a very localized kind of scene and community there, which and that was like my main tournament, right? Before I ended up going to Starforges and things in the city. This is like way back. But that was basically how I got into the competitive scene, and I pretty much stuck around with the people that I met back at BKB in the day, which is, you know, still a thing
It's still a
nowadays,
thing.
with the BKB crew. I guess similarly in a way to like, you know, to Neek and like JML and stuff, and like you kind of transition from like this community and this smaller tournament into the more competitive one, and obviously getting like whacked around at the main tournament quite a bit as well. Yeah. So I guess, you know, in terms of my journey, I didn't start off playing Samus. In fact, I started playing Samus pretty late into my career. I've gone through like several character changes. So not sure if you guys know, but I only started playing Samus maybe like, I think 3 years ago now, something like that. Basically like a decent amount after COVID. I think I was at least 2 or 3 years into like Smash Ultimate. The Smash Ultimate timeline kind of like blurs a lot for me. So if these numbers don't make any sense, you know, this game's been around for a while.
I do remember like you playing it at one of the Arcadians and being like, another Samus player? Hell yeah, let's go. And
yeah,
like, oh wait, you're already better than me.
To be fair, I mean, that having been said, I had played, the game in Smash Ultimate for a long time before that. So at least for me, picking up Samus was a bit more of an interesting journey, I guess. Because I started off with Zelda, which was pretty awful. And then I told myself I wanted to play a mid-tier. So I went on the tier list and I looked at who was considered mid-tier at the time. This was like mid 2019, right? I think I'd made this switch in
Samus was B-tier.
June of 2019. No, not even Samus. I looked at who was considered mid-tier,
Game & Watch?
and I started playing Game & Watch. Yeah, I started playing Game & Watch, who at the time was considered like Omega mid-tier, which, I mean, nowadays you think about that and you're like, what kind of crack were they smoking back then? Like, that is an absolutely insane that the broader international community considered a mid-tier. But I think as I went on in my Smash career as well, I think Game & Watch, I still enjoy playing him, but he kind of gives me a lot of heart palpitations because he's so light. Sometimes I'm just like, oh my god, what do I do? But I actually started playing Samus as well because I was like, I started playing all these kind of zonery characters before, and then later on, I don't really consider Game & Watch a zoner. And I think as the meta went along, the classic like how to beat Game & Watch is you kind of like you play super slow and then you like dash back all his approaches and you whiff punish him a lot. And that was kind of the playstyle I was getting a lot. And I was like, if everybody's just gonna only play defensive, I really enjoyed just playing Samus casually and having like the active pressure of getting charge shot. And it's not obviously like when you verse Samus, it's not like you got to approach them all the time, right? But that active pressure of getting the charge shot is like, I think that there's no characters in the game that can really be like, I'm just going to play with punish versus Samus, because then you always get charge shot and you always get that kind of thing. So it allowed, at least on my end, to feel a bit more of a dynamic kind of play style instead of one that was a bit more polarizing with Game & Watch. So yeah, I ended up sticking with Samus and I think it's done me quite well.
That's pretty good. That's awesome. Yeah, because I was watching, it was at the most recent Arcadian, which was Vic Arcadian 5. 5? Yeah. And I was watching Necro vs. Meshuggah, and the commentators were talking about Game & Watch, and they're like, oh yeah, Fizz had a Game & Watch, for those who remember. I'm like, I did not know that, but...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think she's definitely very good in this game. We'll be able to talk about more of that like later. I guess we can start with the first section, which is playing as Samus, and if you want to pick up this character and improve. So my first question to the two of you is, what do you reckon are the bread and butter and a little bit of Vegemite that you put on the toast kind of combos that you have to learn if you want to play this character?
I think it's a really common phrase where charge shot into imagination is a real thing. But honestly, learning how to use your charge shot, though, it can be different because different percent of charge shots lead to different stuff. But 50% charge shot, mid charge shot into grab, into net, down throw nair. That's a very easy bread and butter. Getting bomb into anything, honestly, using your bomb at ledge to get your ledge traps is also a very important part of your combo game, or just Samus in the general. There's some other crazy stuff you can do, but yeah, down throw is your main throw combo. You got up air as well into your up air juggle chains. Yeah, there's a lot of other bread and butter combos, but they're the ones that come to mind.
Yeah, I definitely think, I mean, it's as with all combo routes, right? You start off with the simple stuff and then you get into the more complex stuff later on. But I really feel for Samus that getting the grab stuff really early and knowing at least the basic follow-ups of all the grab is super important. But mainly because especially at a kind of I guess a starting off rock, paper, scissors with Samus, grabbing and shielding is a huge part of what people are gonna it's a huge part of the game, right? Because people shield versus charge shot, etc. So knowing how to capitalize off all the grab combos at whatever percent is super important. And I really think as well, especially mid percents, 50 and above, doing those frame traps where you look for double jump out of down throw and looking for air dodge out of down throw and things like that, or even do nothing or whack a button as well. There are actually, you can do so many of those kind of little traps with Samus. You can really elevate your combo game that way as well. But I think the basic, down throw nair, down throw fair, you can do down throw back air, all those kind of things, early to mid are super early, and they do so much damage as well, which is like really
Yeah.
another big thing. And I think when I was like learning with the character as well, I think just going for that like rising up air at early percents is just like this is insane, right? Like like the up air which you can do the 0 to death if they like DI wrong, you get the platform reset, like or you can get like well, it's like, up air fair and all of that stuff. But I think that was like the one super easy to do combo that, like, if you go online and you verse like some Samuses that are just like doing the B button stuff, right? I even think that just that one combo is like enough to separate and do like a lot more in those kind of routes, because usually if you're just doing fair as your main anti-air, you're not getting as much off it. So I think that like just those really basic things are all you really need at the start, I think, to do a lot of damage in neutral.
Yeah,
For
100%.
sure. I agree.
I think up air specifically is very underrated because it covers, like, it hits way lower than most people think, and it's kind of like I think of it kind of as a run up Mario up air, because it sets up for a ladder. It can kill if the opponent doesn't know how to DI it properly. If it can set up into like up air, maybe like nair throw them off stage or anything, because that's really what the game plan is, right? Either if depending on who you're versing, I guess, but like hitting them off stage and then let's trap into infinity, or camp them and charge into infinity. It's like, what do you want? What do you do? And then if they're like really high percent, just scare them into shielding and then up throw, which is insane in my opinion.
I remember them buffing that up for and being like, I don't need the top platform anymore. I can just kill like off the ground. This is amazing. I know it's like 150% still, but that's still pretty good.
It's still pretty good.
Very nice.
Especially because
I still think it was. Yeah, I think it was insane that they decided to buff up throw and dash attack from Samus. Like those two moves, I'm just like, damn.
Exactly. We were eating good.
Yeah, 100%. So with like, because a lot of people talk when they talk about playing as Samus, it's talking about this rock paper scissors situation where like you're charging charge shot, your opponent's running at you. You can either, if you think they're gonna keep running and like hitting you with a dash attack or anything, fire charge shot, you win. If you think they're gonna jump over you, you can either jump charge shot or jump forward and jump nair. And if you think they're gonna run up shield to like get rid of the charge shot, you just grab into down throw into all the combos that we just talked about. So like, is it for you guys at least when you're playing neutral? Is that like the only thing that's like the main thing happening in your heads, which is just like, okay, the last few times they've just shielded, so I'm gonna grab this time, or just like that situation? Is that mostly what you guys think about, or is it more like run away, fire missiles, fire charge shot, something else?
Do you want to go first, Kenny?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a time and a place for all of those things, right? And being able to mix that up and mix that in is like super important for Samus. I mean, in terms of the rock paper scissors, there is one other thing, right, that hasn't been mentioned yet, which is of course the insane up the shield. You know, like,
yeah,
which is I think like I mean, you know, there are players out there that basically look for that more than the other elements of the RPS as well. But having that tool for that, you know, super up close to get off me, frame 4, one of the fastest in the game, you know, gets rid of a lot of pressure that can't be answered by a lot of other characters as well. But I really think with Samus as well, with this RPS game of having charge shot, you know, charging to bait people to approach and then fairing their approach, or like upping their approach, or just like cancelling in to grab off their off their approach, that has always been between all of the movement and all of the other tricky things that are going on. I feel like there's always that underlying RPS with Samus's gameplay that's kind of always there, with the charge shot and with your opponent always having to guess on that situation. So when I think about learning Samus, I actually think the best way to do it is like start off with just the charge shot RPS, like play Omega Lane, play like you're playing on Wi-Fi, but at least learn how people are going to approach that pressure or deal with that pressure, right? And then seeing and recognizing the patterns of that afterwards is like super important. And then after that, like after you kind of know the basics of what people are going to do, then you mix it up with timing and movement, right? And then that's how when your opponent is then having to guess both the timing of when this RPS is going to happen and also when, what option in the RPS you're going to take, I think that simply is just easy enough to move it up to a much higher level as well. But realistically, you're looking for everything at different points of the game. Also, whether or not you're in the lead, and kind of what character you're versing as well, which is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. My thoughts on I guess the RPS is also, and I know it's dumb thing to think of, but everyone also has a preference in RPS in terms of I'm gonna go rock every time it's gonna work. I'm gonna keep shooting charge shot every time it's gonna work. If you're playing against Samus, you can also because Samus's job is to make you approach and snuff out your approach and make you uncomfortable and all that. So usually we're trying to see what you're doing first, and for me as well, I hate grab. I think it's very unreliable and people can jump over it. So it's very hard to bait people into it, I think. So I'm trying to anti-air and all that. So if they can see that at first, and then it's just a whole adaptation thing against the whole RPS starting over again. But yeah, in general, you are waiting. If they get anywhere near my shield, I'm gonna upbeat them. If they're jumping onto me, I'll be happy as well. If they're touching me, one thing, it's so fast as well. Frame 4, I think it is ridiculously fast. But yeah, using charge shot, the pressure, and then also I guess with the RPS of charge shot, because you can just throw it out sometimes just to do safe pressure as well, try and poke them a bit more. But even just choosing your timing of charge shot as well as seeing where their movement is, what their habits are when they're neutral. Are they dash dancing? Are they jumping randomly? Are they throwing out moves and trying to cancel their momentum? Because if they're doing unsafe stuff like that, because I've seen people who do that kind of stuff as well. There's I can throw out charge shot for free, it's going to hit for free, and then I can get my combo started. Mm-hmm. So in terms of RPS, knowing when to throw out your charge shot as well, what I'm looking for, is something to consider.
Yeah,
it's so interesting that you say that about the grab, because I feel I'm the opposite generally.
You do so
I
much
really
better
want
grab. I know.
I love
how you do
love
it.
grab.
I remember every time
it's a good grab. It's a really good grab. It's the reactable.
Slow.
That's fake. In the heat of the match, you're not gonna be watching, and then as soon as you see the first few frames, oh, spot dodge, you're gonna get grabbed.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, and it's relying on the opponent doing nothing at that time to be waiting to react for that. If they're pressing a button, or if they've already, a lot of it is preemptively guessing when they're going to dash shield. Especially if you notice that they've been doing it a certain distance a lot, you'd be all right, I've got to send the grab right now. And especially I think it's super character dependent, this kind of stuff, right? But grab is super laggy, right? As we all know. But when you get the grab, the reward, especially at low percent, mainly at low percent I'm talking about, if you get the grab at low percent, you get such a big combo, from 0 to whatever. There's so many routes that you can take, and then you're already ledge trapping at the end of it, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the best part.
But at the same, yeah, exactly. And even though it's super laggy, at low percent, a lot of people are going to be looking for their combo starters at low percent, which are also usually super safe anyway. So, if you're versing somebody I don't know, I'll just think of maybe one of the sorties that has the dash in nair, which is the combo that they want. They get that so easily anyway. You know what I mean? If you whiff a grab and they get the combo starter that they want, it's well, they probably could have just got this in neutral anyway. Yeah. So I'm often personally happy to trade the grab for that. And especially Samus also has charge shot into grab at low percent and bomb into grab at low percent. So you can also get it that way as well. But anyway, I just really...
That's where I feel
I love
getting charge shot or something else into grab is fine, but trying to do it raw, I've seen you do perfect turnaround grabs. I'm how do you do that? The way you do that, I remember you doing that against me in friendlies. I'm I need to note this down. I need to try this more.
Yeah, the turnaround grab is great because I remember this. I learned this off Game & Watch, I guess, but because everybody is so used to you up being out of shield, and because you have so many out of shields on Game & Watch, everybody is landing shield, and this is so. I think it's pretty reliable when people do a cross up aerial. 90% of the time, I swear people are just shielding, right? Because they've crossed up. They're this is basically safe. Not that many people have a super fast backwards facing whatever. I guess people that are backwards back airs out of shield, but I mean a lot of, I'm talking super safe moves, right? A lot of the time you can just go for like turnaround grabs and things like that, and then get your ridiculous combo. There have been many cases playing Samus where it's like you get the grab, you send them off stage, and you can honestly just take the stock like off the ledge trap or whatever, like straight after it. So
Yeah, 100%. And what's it called? Once you're actually in advantage, like we've talked about how the goal is to get them like off stage so that they have to, and then maybe covering like a high recovery with the charge shot or the green missile, the stronger one. Once they're actually in ledge, then this is the infamous Samus ledge trapping. How do you do that properly? Because I know that there's a specific setup, or maybe there isn't, and I'm talking random things, but where they
really
just can't get out. No, not to get away from it. How to do it? Like you're the Samus player. Where do you put the bombs?
Even as a Samus, I'm both really bad at setting it up and also getting past it. Because like with your bombs, like I can tell the simple stuff. You can only have 2 bombs out at a time, and you have like grounded bomb and you have like aerial bomb. Grounded bomb I think lasts longer, whereas aerial bomb like is shorter. Once they're out, if someone makes contact with it, then it blows up. And then for ledge traps as well, like for Samus. You can set it up perfectly at ledge where it like will blow up on ledge and it hits their ledge hand if they're out of iframes, or if you can send it off ledge as well, like while the recovery, for example, against K. Rool, because of his recovery being so linear, it's very easy to just keep him like infinitely there with bombs essentially. So like in terms of setting up, I usually will just try and set up like 1 or 2 of them, and I might misspace it. So a lot of people won't see it as space, like, oh, there's a bomb there, and just like try and panic an option like neutral get up, which is, by the way, the worst option into like a sledge trap. If anyone's doing that, stop it. But yeah, like I try and time the 2, so I might do like 1 grounded and then 1 aerial, so they can blow up roughly the same time. And then just holding charge shot C, and like if I time it right, where I catch the 2 frame, or like they neutral get up or choose another option, they lose iframes, I can try and charge shot if it hits them in the correct direction. But usually mine's more like just setting up and hoping for the best. Mine's not super accurate. Kenny, you might be able to tell more how it's possibly done.
I think, to be honest, I think I'm decent at it, but I like, when you watch pro players and it's another story. And I feel like they have so many layers of like conditioning for it as well, like setting up all the different variants. I think that the most, when I was getting started learning this ledge trap, I think the one to get started with is you kind of position yourself like slightly like close to the ledge, but not right on the ledge. And then you do a bomb where you kind of get into the down, you press the down beat, and then you go towards the ledge, you move towards the ledge, and you move backwards. And then you end up kind of rolling towards, so you do that twice to get the 2 bombs out. When you do it on the ground, that's generally like the best one, because it hits like ledge hang, and there's 2 of them. So like, as they get back, they'll be dealing with that, after they get back. So long as you've kind of timed it right, the timing can be a bit iffy. But as you kind of roll back, if they try to get up, you're actually like in roll position. So people are like, so the easiest way to do it, I suppose, is you kind of like just charge shot at that location as the bombs are exploding. And, if they neutral get up into it, or even if they try to get up attack, they'll usually miss the get up attack because you kind of roll along the ground towards the roll get up, or if they roll get up into it, then you're kind of there with the charge shot. But that is also, and that's kind of like I think the one that covers the most options generally. But I think that to get the kind of one where they're really, really stuck, you have to time it so perfectly compared to their recovery. Otherwise, they usually have an option around it. And it's also strictly reliant on you having big charge shot, which you very often don't have like at that case, especially if you've just used your charge shot to send them off stage, then you don't have the charge shot for ledge trapping, right? And you're not going to have time to set up, do that setup and then charge to get like a big one as well. And then different characters with different ledge hangs, it gets like pretty annoying as well. But I think, when I was learning, that was just the one that I would do over and over and over again. And I think that one, it's like the most basic one. I think because you're at roll position, you don't get reversaled that easily. But people can time their jump, especially like jump backwards, is one that people can do, that I've failed to like kind of reach quite a few times. The neutral get up one, it covers neutral get up so well. But if you if you have lots and lots of invincibility, I think that the very, very I have had people experience it getting around the ledge trap, neutral get up through the last bit. People don't the reason why people fall for it is that the explosion has a lingering hitbox. So once the explosion's out, it's not like you can neutral get up into it. It has like a weird lingering hitbox that like screws with people's heads. But if you just wait out like the lingering hitbox, you can like kind of time it to get through it as well. But that's like very super specific. But I'm sure, Nick, you've probably seen some people successfully do it, right? Like just
not very often. Neutral get up is where I get like the most value. Usually, like again with
that is true, yeah.
Like get up, if Samus is doing bad timing, get up attack like when they're not doing the one properly, it can work depending on the length of their get up attack. Otherwise, it is hard to get around it. You can try jumping backwards if you think they're gonna like aerial or like charge shot. If you think you have a good recovery of going like high, essentially like Rob does, for example, to get back onto stage. Otherwise, if they're not set up properly with roll distance, it's like very specific things. And timing is part of it. But I do think waiting is fine as well if you think they haven't put bomb correctly at ledge. Because if bombs are gone, like Samus can't go into their own bombs without getting put back to the ball form unless they have shield up or they're in an active move like charge shot or smash attack. So if they don't have bombs there, you can just like wait at ledge, wait for the bombs to go, and then you've got one less thing to deal with to get back to ledge.
Yeah, I think that's a really good mix-up. I mean, when people ask me how to get around it, I often tell people to cop the bomb hit at as a mix-up. Don't do it all the time because we have answers for that. But if you cop the bomb hit, but if you cop the bomb hit, right, then we don't have enough time generally to set up like the setup all over again. Because like as you cop the hit, you just basically like re-grab the ledge. You have been hit, so you still get invincibility back the second time, but we don't have enough time to fully set up the next one. So I think that if people are relying on the same setup over and over again, then that's like a super easy way to kind of get around it as well. But that ledge trap in particular, I mean, there's so many things you can do and so many variations. Like Nick was saying, there's the aerial one. I think there's like bomb on the ground. There's full hot bomb, which is actually very easy to do because the full hot bomb, you kind of you're in the air, right? So you can control your drift to kind of really precisely like put it on the ledge. There's that aspect of it. And there's also like short hot bomb, and short hot bomb weirdly doesn't hit the ledge, I think. I remember like testing, but then like short hot bomb better covers like jump in. Like there's like lots of little layers like this that you see from the Samus perspective, but you may not necessarily see if you're watching Samus because it kind of all looks the same. Which is the best part, right? It's a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And I think the other thing with the Samus bomb is the best follow-ups will depend on if the bomb is sending in or out. And you got to get like really used to knowing which way it's going to send. And really, because it's basically it's a very, very minute positioning. If it's further from the ledge, it'll send in. If it's closer to like the stage side of the ledge, it'll send out. So you got to like also know which follow-up that bomb's going to do, because if it sends out, you can do like if it sends out and you're close enough, you can do like up tilt or you can do like charge shot. But yeah but I mean, we should have talked about the double bomb up tilt. That's like an absolute classic for a lot of people to do. That basically covers so much except for like get up attack, I guess.
Or just roll up tilt to hit the ledge hang as well.
Exactly, because up tilt hits the ledge hang. It kills so early, actually. That move is so powerful.
It's so good. Into it, like it sends them backwards because of the top part of the hitbox, and then you just have to like do it on the other side of the stage, and it's like, okay, let's go again.
Yeah, that's such a funny one. But if you if you're learning the ledge trap as well, it's good to try and learn and recognize if it's going to send in, because then you can do like the bomb into F smash, or my favorite is bomb into reverse up smash, because up smash is like
cool.
It's so satisfying to hit that one. Like number one, because Samus up smash basically is like such a bad move, right? It very rarely, like so many people just fall out of it. It doesn't really scoop like pretty much at all. Like it like and I swear everybody just falls out of it. But the very last hit is super powerful for like absolutely no reason. So it often kills earlier than like even F Smash on a lot of depending. It always sends up as well, which is good because it like it's. You just got to trust me. Like it really kills super duper early. And the other good thing about it,
damage.
It does do damage, and it also there's this weird property of up smash where like I got to describe this properly. Like it doesn't scoop, but because of the game mechanic of like the what's it called? Like you know how you can't run through people. You know what I mean? What's that called again? I'm forgetting all my Smash terminology now. But basically, if you roll, if you roll onto Samus, there's like a hitbox on Samus's body that basically doesn't. Yeah, there is, but it basically doesn't do anything unless you're literally inside Samus. And the only way to get in that position is to be like rolling into that location. This is like a super weird niche thing. Yeah. But if you roll, you will actually connect all of the hits of up smash. But it wouldn't scoop you if you weren't rolling into her. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So if you do like this reverse up smash, it actually covers roll as well, which is like really, really amazing.
Yeah, I feel like I know what you mean. It's because like when two like I also forgot what it is, but it does like push you out, right? And then into the right
exactly.
position. Yeah, because it's the same thing, and I know this is like irrelevant, but just to highlight what Kenny's talking about to the listeners, like if, for example, you're playing as Pac-Man, I know, crazy example, and you're facing away from the hydrant and it's behind you, and you back throw your opponents into it. As soon as the back throw releases, the opponent is inside the hydrant and it pushes them out, does so much more knockback. It kills pretty early, but yeah, like that's basically the principle.
Yeah. There's a lot of these niche examples in the game with like the fact that you can't like literally run on top of each other in this game. I forget what that is called. Yeah, there's a lot of niche examples where that property gets kind of exploited by people like rolling in or like grabbing in and stuff like that. So yeah.
Now, I wanted to, because here's another thing about playing as Samus. Sometimes you're gonna lose neutral, you're gonna get hit, and she doesn't have that great disadvantage. Like, especially I feel like Swordies can juggle her extremely easily, and she has a rough time getting off of ledge if it wasn't for forward air. So, if you're either being juggled or if you're at the ledge as Samus, how do you deal with her disadvantage?
It's a great question. I got ledge chats forever by Mean God like last week. It's like getting off ledge is definitely a challenging thing. There are things that you can do, like mix up. Fair is obviously like the most common one. It's a multi-hit. It can poke through shields. So to add on to that, if you throw out like a projectile first as you're starting to recover, to like catch someone who's like just hanging around there, and if it just like hits their shield to do some shield damage, then you can shield poke them more easily. You can get a get-up attack. Roll is super reliable. Like the main way that most people ledge trap Samus is just like they'll hold shield because like what can we do? We can aerial, we can get up, which is slow. We can roll, which is slow. They can just like react to it and all. We can jump and try other like weird stuff. We can also do bomb recovery. The one thing I need to do more of, which I think is probably one of the strongest things, is jumping back onto stage with charge shot. So you can do like wall jump and then be reversed back onto stage with charge shot, so you have momentum and then you're back on stage with charge shot out. And if you want to get super technical, you can also cancel that into a tether, which is charge shot cancel tether. And there's some crazy stuff you can do with that. Like you can do that into down tilt as well for extra safe pressure. So I need to learn how to do that more, but like that's probably the best way getting back onto stage in terms of like from ledge. As for like getting juggled in there, we don't have as many options.
Yeah, Bob.
Kenny, what would you do to recover?
I was gonna say immediate thing is probably bomb. I think because bomb you can like really you can mix up your drift a lot with it. Like you can either go back into yourself or like go back into the bomb and then you get like kind of flung out the other way. And a lot of people aren't ready to deal with the fact that you go into this tiny like hurt box, right? And then you can also choose which way you go after it. So unless people are like particularly practiced at versing that kind of movement, I feel like it's an easy way out of a lot of juggling at least. But I think when people do get very practiced at it, they know how to get around it. And the other thing is, we're still in lag from that. So if people are just tracking your movement a lot and you're playing like a very fast character, you can kind of react and see where they're going and then just kind of like whack them out of it based on that. But that's super dependent on who you're playing, and of course what your juggling capabilities are. I mean, if you're versing like a sortie that's super fast, you're just gonna go like, I'm never landing.
So
I'm just going back to
at
the
that
ledge.
point, I just like at that point I just like rather go to the ledge and like try and get off the ledge because like so against like Lucina or like Cloud or something like that, like they've still got really good like ways of pushing that ledge, but like their jump game is so strong. Bombs like as a way of stalling, but even the up airs can like trade well enough that it's like fine for them to take the bomb and take the hitbox. So then it's like your other options are like trying to use your momentum with like charge shot, like B reverse, wave bounce, that kind of stuff mid-air to like try and slip past, or like you just fast fall, air dodge, or air dodge in a different direction. But that's very timing based, and you have to be like super on point.
I feel like Samus's bomb has a little bit of the snake grenade treatment, where like if you try to hit it, unless you have a massive disjoint like broken sorties, you can just get hit, and it doesn't like don't knock back to you. It might like keep you in a ball animation, but you're still going down. Whereas they're getting hit that way, and then suddenly you're in advantage. Maybe not quite, but yeah, it's a lot
if you
easier.
trade the hitbox, it's fine. But if you miss like the trade and we get bumped, then we're back in advantage stage. It's like fine, we can get a new like combo started with charge shot, and now it's our turn.
Although on this disadvantage thing, I don't know if I guess we'll cover it at some point, but this has been a big it's made a real tangible difference in some matchups. But that's playing normal Samus versus Dark Samus in this particular situation, because normal Samus goes back into the small ball, right? And versus some characters, I've really tangibly felt that it affects your disadvantage, especially aerial disadvantage, like a lot. And I feel way more comfortable double jumping in disadvantage as Samus, knowing that the hurtbox shift will make you like a lot harder to hit and a lot more ambiguous, especially when you're doing bomb stuff as well. I think that's another small thing that can help a lot. But in terms of getting off ledge, I had this massive problem as well. But I think just like going and watching I was watching like Siski and Yarrow a lot, and then just watching how they get off ledge, right? And I think this is like a good tip for most players in terms of getting off ledge. Pro players know so many more mix-ups than you're probably even aware exist. So I know a lot of them. There's a lot of funny reversal tricks you can do by like doing like jump immediate bomb, and then you can go into like a smaller hitbox, and then sometimes reversal people if they like get hit by the bomb. Like you can get like you can jump bomb. If they get hit by it, you can like it depending on where they get hit. You can either fair or like you can like dash attack it, like stuff like that. But like there's some sneakier things that you can do. But unfortunately, I think that is kind of a weakness of Samus that is, you know, this happens to a lot of characters, right? We just don't have options like a lot of other characters do.
We're not
you know,
like
I don't
the
think
characters.
I mean, it'd be pretty busted if we had like the most amazing disadvantage and get off ledge and stuff. I mean, we'd
imagine
weakness, right?
because you know Samus is Zero Suit Samus just with a different suit. Imagine if you had her down B.
Would I make that trade though? I think we like bomb too much because like.
Do you reckon? I feel like it's just that's her biggest weakness, right? A disadvantage, and ZSS's down B just it deletes disadvantage. So you lose ledge trapping, which is one of her biggest.
I'm with Nick. I would actually keep the Samus bomb.
Wait! But imagine we get to like wave bounce after like the ZSS down B. Imagine the movement options we could get. That'd be pretty fun. It would still suck, but I just like the movement of Samus as well, so it'd be fun.
I mean, realistically, get rid of side B and then give any of those kind of moves, and that's when it becomes super bust.
That's so true. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No, actually, as if you're playing a Samus and there's a lot of archetypes in this game, right? So how do you adapt versus maybe playing against a zoner that can camp on equal terms with you, that maybe they aren't as forced to approach you as other characters, and like rush down super heavies, sorties. So like how does she do into all those different archetypes?
I want to start with zoners because I played Iceman very well recently, and like so that was into like her snake. And in terms of like playing another zoner, like it's respecting their zones in a way. Like you still have to weave your way in and find your charge shots, but also keeping safe pressure on. So like for Snake with grenades, like the biggest issue for the matchup because it blocks charge shot and all that. So finding ways to like either just like let it go behind me, so jump past it, or like shielding it and then throwing it back at them, so I control now more of the space because I've got control of the grenades as well. So that's one way of like I guess dealing with other zoners is trying to like you still have to weave your own way in as well, and like keep your own pressure up. But finding like your moments and times to like get in, get them off ledge, and now you're back into your normal game plan of like just having them at ledge. But that's like specifically for Snake. Do you have any examples, Kenny?
I think with the zoners, there's so many different archetypes, and some zoners we straight up beat, I think, and then some zoners are a lot harder to deal with. I think the ones that yeah, especially Duck Hunt and things like that. I think when versing a zoner, I mean, you know, critically, Samus's very difficult matchups, like basically like the minus like 50 matchups are all kind of mid-range zoners that you can't charge shot through. So basically situations where charge shot is like extremely hard to use. Like so Duck Hunt and the number one is infamously Olimar, I think, because all the Pikmin just eat the thing and then you basically have to like just rely on your normals and your slow speed and honestly the fact that you like a lot of Samus has like rising aerials and a lot of the falling aerials like down air or even like falling nair are mainly used to cover like approaches. But actually like jumping in as Samus and then like landing with an aerial, just because it's so floaty and slow and because things like down air have like super high startup, you don't get as much of that like jump in versing other zoners, you know what I mean? Because like when you're versing other zoners that you need to kind of get through that horizontal pressure that they're doing, like thinking Olimar, for example, like you don't have that much that you can do to just like jump in like that, which is, you know, when you're playing other characters, it's like, oh, this is kind of free. You know, you could even play Ike and just sit in front of them and just full hop and then just like do that kind of like stuff. But like Samus doesn't have that luxury, right? So I think that with zoners specifically, it's really important to know, do you zone better than them? And how patiently do you need to play in that matchup? Like, do you mainly need to be the aggressor, or are they going to get more mileage out of being the ones that zone more efficiently? And I think, you know, there are some where it's kind of even as well. And you obviously can't do exclusively one or the other. I mean, Smash is a game of like constant mixing up, right? But just having that in the back of your mind in terms of what I need to do, I think can be really important. I think a big example of this that happened to me a long time ago when I was playing Samus is I was versing Mega Man at a major, and I think the first thing I thought was that I need to kind of like just kind of get in. So that was like kind of my immediate thought. But realistically, in that matchup, you need to get your own big charge shot, and then your big charge shot goes through all of their stuff. Yeah, it just like if they commit to like lemons, you just like blast them for it. Yeah. So in that kind of matchup, it's a lot more about literally run away, like jump in the air and charge if you have to. Like don't like just do all of this kind of mix up to get your charge shot and just continually try to get big charge shots so you can blast through all their stuff.
Yeah.
Conversely, if you try to do that with Duck Hunt, your big charge shot goes through no projectiles. You'll probably fire it and it'll do nothing. So like, you'll waste it every 2 seconds hitting the frisbee and hitting like gunman and hitting can. Like you'll just waste it constantly. So I think understanding that.
That one.
Yeah, absolutely. But really just, and I guess experimenting in the moment, if you're in bracket and you're like, I don't know what to do, like that kind of tempo change or just knowing in your mind what's most powerful at what time is like really important to know. And unfortunately, you just have to go through each of the characters one by one and figure it out like independently on how valuable charge shot's going to be in the matchup. So I think with versus zoners especially, that's like a number one thing. Which of them can outzone you? Which of them are you more going to have to be on the approach? And which ones is it actually better for you to chill and grab your charge shot?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that's charge shot versus like projectile characters is very weird because I mean charge shot as a like is the central point of any matchup involving Samus because like I was gonna say that at the end, but you know like you guys have just been talking about it the whole time. So when it comes to characters that have
Welcome
projectiles
to-
of their own, it's
Yeah.
about like, does my big projectile beat their many projectiles?
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's because all Zodas and Trappers play like pretty differently to each other, I feel. So like you
Yeah.
said, I think that was a very good thought, is like it is individual. I feel like with for like rushdown characters, this is in a way it's exactly what you want, and it's also maybe potentially bad because they have to be the ones to get close to you, so that's when you're in control. But some of them are just so fast that I feel like if they just get a hit on Samus, they can just continually keep hitting them. Like I'm thinking Roy juggling or Fox combos that last forever and that kind of thing. How do you guys feel about those characters?
I think like if Charge Shot was a focus for like zoners, I feel like up B is a big one, especially for like rushdown characters.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
trying to like
definitely.
snuff out approaches, like do aerials and all that. But like if they're touching the shield unsafely, like anyone, like especially me brawler, because I play that often, like if they land nair, because they always love their nair, it's so safe just to up B every time. So then they have to like consider more of their approaches, trying to be more tricky and all that. So it puts a bit more pressure onto them. But like in terms of rushdown as well, another safe thing that I think you can do is like camp under like platforms and like have bomb out in front of you so you can get your charge shot ready. And it's just really hard to like get around that. I feel like you have to be like very tricky or like intentional in how they get around it. Either like then trying to then like weave the thread as to speak. But like, generally against rushdown, I feel like we do okay. I can't think of too many rushdown characters that I have trouble with outside of maybe Falco or Bayonetta. I know Bayonetta's pretty bad for us as well.
Are
But
they
that's more
rushdown?
so that. Does she count?
Yeah, that's-
I don't know if
Combo
Falco is a
heavy,
rushdown character.
She's a combo heavy character, you know. How else would you describe Falco?
Well, I think he's part of the spacey archetype. Those are the ones that have like the laser and the reflectors and the weird recoveries, the ones that like charge up for a bit and then like fire upwards. I feel like Falco is probably terrible for Samus, methinks, because of his reflector and laser. But
Yeah, that's the main thing.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Falco was like, when I was first starting to play Samus, everybody just kind of put me with Falco, and that was like my initial playing Samus experience, which is like, oh, and also everybody here has a pocket Falco, and if they get sick of like playing their normal character, they're just gonna play Falco, which I think integrally makes it a matchup that every Samus player will eventually learn like quite well.
Yeah.
Even though it takes a lot of time. Yeah. But I think, Falco is a rushdown. I think they're a weird kind of archetype. I'm not sure which. I wouldn't call them rushdown. Yeah. And Bayonetta. I think Bayonetta's actually so hard. I think, especially when because they can. Like, number one, the combos are insane. I've been zero to death like a billion times. But like, as a floaty that can't get down very easily, it's like, I feel like it's especially easy for them to do as well, which I have confirmed talking to some people. But as well, their approaches cover like really weird areas as well. Like, you know, like the ABK, like they've got like the kind of the horizontal up one, but also the up one, like, you know, the one that goes down from like really far up. One is really, that one's really weird to cover. Like, that's not one that you can just like, I'm just gonna like anti-air with fair or something. It's such a weird angle to cover. And then they get so much out of them as well. They've got edge guarding for days, like a lot of different things. But I feel like Bayonetta as a character is like a super unique, like Bayonetta is a unique character, and I don't think they fall particularly perfectly into any of the archetypes. But I think playing versus Rushdown, as we were talking about, as Nick said, up B was like a really big one, like super, super big one. And I think most of the Rushdown characters in the game will have a lot of their big moves just snuffed out by that. I think where that can become a bit of a curse, obviously, you know, if they start to bait and punish it properly, that can be a big deal. And also the fact that you are relying on sitting in shield and not getting that much. Like, if they choose... And because the kind of niche thing about rushdown characters, which I think makes them more difficult at top level, it's just not the fact that they're actually rushing you down, but they're also really hard to hit because they're so fast. So if they mix it up between constantly going in and being really fast, but also, you know, I'm now just like dashing a lot and like being hard to hit horizontally, and if they just threaten you and then you've like whiffed something, they're just like on you already. As soon as you whiff, you're just like, you're getting whacked already. So that can be like pretty hard to deal with as well. But I think a lot of the if you gave me a pick between versing a rushdown character and versing any of kind of like the mid-range zoners that kind of just spam stuff at you, I'll always take the rushdown personally. Yeah. I think that and it's kind of like a weirdly like I find it quite enjoyable in a sadistic kind of way to like upbeat them a lot, but then also like it's absolutely an enjoyable feeling
It's
to upbeat them a lot.
effect.
Number one, to upbeat a lot. Number one, but then also playing that weird kind of they're so scared of the upbeat now, so I'm gonna like do other stuff, and I'm gonna have more room to either charge shot or like push them closer into the corner. And just it's a funny because most characters are like I'm scared of charge shot, but rushdowns are like I'm scared of upbeat, so they end up like playing differently around it as well. And as soon as you kind of like you can sometimes feel that they're really scared for it as well in the moment as well, and you can kind of feel that tempo shift and understand what you need to be doing like because of it as well. And I guess the other thing about a lot of the rushdown characters is they like a lot of them have linear recoveries, like Roy's and like Fox's are like decently like okay to edgeguard. So it's like pretty good to hit them that way. I think another one that I think is harder is actually Sonic. I think played correctly can be a little bit more difficult. Because infamously, right, they can also choose not to approach if they want to. Like they can kind of weave around charge shot a little bit as well, and they have a lot of like spin dash into fair seems so consistent versus Samus as well. So like little things like that. But yeah, the other thing about Rushdown as well as their easy to hit recovery. They all ledge trap super well as well. Like Fox and Roy like get so much mileage of ledge trapping Samus, I think, which is another level which I think makes them more difficult to deal with than a lot of other characters. But yeah, it's a different game with upbeat, but it's a fun game.
I really
much better than playing other zoners.
I really like how you said that about how you enjoy it on a sadistic level because that segues perfectly into the next point I wanted to bring up, which is it's probably not a real term, but I call it tilt privilege, where like, you play a character that will make people mad very easily. Do you think that tilt privilege is a real thing? Because I think there's a few ways you could look at it. You could look at it as no, it's not real. It depends on your opponent. If they get tilted really easily. Like you could say, they'd get tilted just as much by getting Jed by Roy than be getting Let's Trap Forever by Samus. But I feel like it is kind of real because it is you have control. You centralize control in neutral and maybe even at advantage as well with charge shot, which can just be very like annoying to deal with and make you feel like nothing that you can do works, especially if your character loses hard to Samus. But like, how do you guys feel like about this in a bracket setting? Do you feel like it give you like an edge in your mental game, or is it just no, not really? It's just what the opponent I'm versing is.
I think look, I've talked to too many people to deny it. Like, there's definitely some tilt privilege, especially playing Samus, like whose whole game plan is like trying to force your opponent to do stuff and like make them approach you or like upbeat them where they like. Every choice they make seems like the wrong one and you punish them super hard. Like, they get so upset and it's like, dude, why did I die? Like, why does charge shot do 30%? And then I do feel like when you're tilted in general, most people play bad. Like, some people are like, I'm going to channel anger. It's going to make me play better. No, it generally doesn't. They just, like, keep rushing in and it's like, you're doing the same thing over and over again. So, like, to that side of things, yes, but also, I don't think I do it intentionally. I just have fun, like, throwing out charge shot and doing stuff. And, you know, I find things silly. I like did up B with grenade in hand. I died off of it, but I still got damage on the opponent.
Yeah, on this actually, with you specifically, because for the listeners, Neek sometimes when there's something silly that happens in a match, he laughs. So like, let's say I'm trying to get off ledge and like you get something goofy with like a bomb into up tilt, and you're like hee hee hee, and I'm like shut the fuck up, man. I'm trying.
Can't help it.
So it could be like a player dependent thing as well.
Yeah. On the flip side, that because like I don't do it intentionally, I just find things funny. But then like sometimes I see I've like actually made someone really upset and I feel bad. I'm like, oh no. Especially in early days, I like felt really bad for tilting people. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try like play less tilty and all that, and now I'm just like, it's part of the game, it's part of the game plan. I need to like win. It's okay.
At the end of the day, it is like, you know, you're not cheating, you're just playing your character as you should, so, you know, just don't be mad, LOL.
Yeah, I think that this issue's kind of affected me personally a little bit because I think on one hand it like strictly in terms of tilt privilege, you can definitely feel it in game if somebody just starts like running in constantly and then they're just like doing the same stuff over and over again. And because that happens, you know, especially if you play on Wi-Fi, you'll be very familiar with what that looks like. And like as soon as people start doing that, you kind of automatically are like, all right, this is easy. They're just playing stupid right now. Like they're clearly tilted.
Yeah.
They're not really thinking about this straight. And it's super easy just to kind of beat them for it. But I guess on the flip side, like, you know, in bracket, if people start like getting tilted next to me, like Nick said, I do feel bad for them. And especially if people start kind of like pseudo raging next to me or like kind of doing something like that, or even like if they get too visibly frustrated, it also takes like I start feeling really bad, and it also does take me out of the game a little bit as well. I know that this was a big thing when I kind of tried playing without headphones for a while, and then like you kind of notice a little bit more about what's going on, and I kind of like it actually like takes me out of the game in that moment. So for me as well, like I actually struggle with that a little bit. If my playstyle or whatever is causing people to kind of physically rage next to me, I actually find it quite hard to deal with in bracket. I mean, this is, you know, mitigated by if we've got a setup where they're kind of far away from each other, that's great.
Yeah.
That's the ideal situation. Put on headphones, you just chill, like you're in like your own like little bubble. But if they're like right next to you, like so close, and they're kind of like physically getting a bit upset about it, I find it difficult to kind of like phase out of that. You know, I'm a little bit sadistic, right? But I'm not that sadistic.
Yeah, 100%.
exactly.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
like, I get it because I also play a frustrating character. Sometimes you can get the aura that you're about to get a control spike if you win, and you're like, just please, as long as it doesn't hit me,
Yeah.
I'm fine. Because I've had table slaps, I've had like controller spikes, and it's
Yeah.
like it can be a little scary because you don't know if like the opponent next to you can control themselves not to do that. So it is distracting, like on both ends, which maybe that's fair if that's the case, but I don't know. If I like, my opinion is if you're gonna be playing a bracket competitive game, you should be prepared to deal with frustrating stuff, because to win a competitive game you have to do the most optimal thing, which often is not going to be the most fun thing. So
Yeah,
that's my
yeah,
opinion.
definitely. Yeah,
But
yeah, I absolutely agree.
I guess we can move on to the second section. We might be able to move through this a little faster since we've been dropping in bits and pieces while talking in section 1. But playing against Samus, this is what most current competitive players are going to be looking for. The timestamp is 1 hour, 1 minute, 20 seconds. So we can start by talking like about her overall broad weaknesses and then like how to exploit them like slowly. So in my opinion, like her biggest weaknesses is, we've talked about it, like easily juggled, ledge options, she's really slow. She doesn't have a lot of options, like when you're putting a lot of pressure if she can't use charge shot. Like if you're like hitting her constantly for it and like keeping up the pressure when you're in advantage, she really doesn't have any option other than like shield and up B. And that's very easy to like either bait or condition or read in like those kinds of scenarios. So I feel like I know, and it's like not like exactly, but but yeah, I feel like that's kind of my view of the character matchup specifically. But what do you guys think about it if you're from your opponent's perspective?
I mean, in terms of like weakness, well, matchup weakness in general, reflectors, anyone who can block charge shot. So like characters who do those things already have Finn. Hero is busted. Having 10 seconds of having a reflector is so hard to play against. And obviously Olimar is like our worst matchup for a reason because of all the Pikmin. But no, I agree with everything you said. Like also like any character who can also like bypass ledge can also do pretty well into Samus. Like you can recover high.
Hero zoom.
Yeah, Hero Zoom is another reason why it's not as fun. It is a difficult matchup for sure. But like even Rob, because Rob has like the up B, they have options. They can like act out of it. They have gyro as well, so like they can get back to stage pretty safely. They can go high. Snake has similar as well. Like it's definitely hard to catch his recovery even with his grenade mix-ups as well. so that can make it hard as well. But yeah, anyone who can like pressure us like safely as well, like disjoints on shield and all that, juggle us really easily, and anyone who can like keep us at ledge as well, like really safe. Like I think Pyramithra's decently even just because they have bad recovery, but if they're in advantage the whole time, it can be such a struggle. Like they juggle us forever, they combo us forever, and they can keep us at ledge very, very well.
Yeah, I think Pyramith is so hard. I actually put that up there as like I don't know if it's a personal thing. I really hate versing Pyramith. That's probably like of the common characters. That's probably my most played that I least enjoy. Is that character as well. But I think there's a lot. I mean, we've talked about advantage, but that's a lot. Like that's really character specific. I think if you're a character with a good advantage, you have a good advantage. And also if you're happy to be better at juggling, then you're naturally going to do better against Samus as well. But I think there are things in neutral that people kind of forget about versus Samus. I think a big one is that if it's like an RPS situation, right, and they're playing to whiff, like if they're actively pressuring Samus, like kind of baiting with movement into thinking, all right, I'm going to dash shield here, and instead of they like dash and then they jump in place, and then you've like committed to the grab already or something like that, right? Then you can like easily whiff punish them. But if you're like dashing and kind of jumping back and playing specifically to whiff punish Samus when they do something, I think that that's an easy way to get openings versus Samus, is kind of like knowing that if they miss any of their RPS options, it's actually like an advantage for the other person. Obviously, if Samus calls it out and just like, I don't know, continues charging charge shot or like doesn't overshoot or something like that, there's obviously ways around it. But a lot of players and a lot of play styles that I've had a lot of trouble with are ones that play neutral in both like I'm going to attack you, but I'm definitely also not. Like ones where I have to constantly guess, are they properly approaching me right now? Or are they really trying to bait out a fair from me? Or are they trying to bait out like an up B or something? And then it gets a lot more tricky as well. So like playing a little bit more like iffy with timing versus Samus, and then not being afraid to play a little bit of a whiff punish game and weave in and out of that range where they want to do something. I think those are like really easy tips versus Samus as well. And a big one that I think Gluto was saying versus Samus, like if you want like a really easy thing that's good to do versus Samus, is just if you can roll behind Samus or like get into that position, it's really hard for the Samus to deal with. And a lot of the time they have to hard call it out with like a jump back air, down air and stuff like that. That's like the biggest one for like catching rolls, I think that a lot of Samus players are used to, but it's kind of a big commitment. I mean, if they don't do it, you've kind of like jumped in the air for nothing, and your down air is not very safe. So it's like stuff like that. I think rolling and spot dodging as well gives a lot of characters a huge advantage if they've grabbed into the spot dodge, or even like fared when you're not doing it, or if you've spot dodged, or if you've rolled especially through charge shot and stuff like that. Really easy ways to get big openings. And I think that once players realize that you definitely need to be on the pressure versus Samus as well. Like charge shot is pressuring you, but if you're pressuring them not to charge shot, but also playing really sneaky, I think is like a good way to play it. Just play that little bit more sneaky versus Samus. You'll be able to find a lot more openings than you think, so long as you don't do it too predictably.
Yeah, I think like there's a really nice balance that you have to be aware of. Like if you don't respect charge shot enough, you're gonna get obliterated, and if you respect it too much, you're not pressuring her, so you're giving her too much space to basically do whatever she wants, which I think has been my problem for the longest time. I think I respect Samus too much, but I don't know, she's scary. What about
Yeah,
interesting. I think we've covered a lot of these, I think. I guess the one I'd like to try and get interesting. No, we've talked about a lot of these, because like, yeah, the range, how to play. I guess, how do you play disadvantage against her? Because when she's trying to juggle you with up airs or edge guarding you, which I don't think she's like particularly good at, unless she's throwing like a missile from ledge or like a charge shot. I think she just prefers to just stay on the stage and set up the ledge traps. And then there's the big old question, which we kind of answered a little bit beforehand, but I guess we can maybe go back to again, is how to get off ledge versus this character.
I also with disadvantage, I think one of the worst options against Samus is actually choosing like a defensive option in terms of like air dodge, roll, like shield, like spot dodge. Because like if we, especially like for the up air chains, one of the most common things that we do is like get 2 up airs, and then rather than going for the final up
Yeah.
B, which isn't always consistent, is we'll just like wait to see what you do. If you air dodge, we can get a charge shot and we get a new part of the combo and like get extra like damage. So it's like so much more free. And even on the ground,
Yeah.
like if we do like jab 1 and use spot dodge, like we can do so much stuff out of that. We haven't even talked about jab 1. That's a whole new RPS
Oh, yeah,
situation as
true,
well.
I feel like you do it way more though.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah,
well,
I'm not as Nick is a lot better than me.
Yeah,
at
Kenny
this,
doesn't.
I must
Kenny's
say.
not a
When
jab one enjoyer.
I
Yeah.
do. I like to jab 1. It's a nice little mix up, especially like them coming out of shield with an option. Like if they try and jump and then you jab them, suddenly they're like, "Oh, I'm still on the ground now." Like whatever I was going for isn't going to work necessarily. But jab 1 still isn't the greatest in terms of like, depending on like where you are in the match and how stale it is and all that. Jab 1 like a low percent can still like if you just choose like an F tilt if it's fast enough or like your own jab, like you usually just win out that matchup. Like unless I walk away or I get my shield up fast enough. So like especially against Roy as well, because I remember this being an issue. If I jab 1 Roy, they can just jab 1 me and then they get like so much more off of it. Honestly.
Yeah, a lot of if you're versing somebody that's mashing a lot, you literally just get outmashed in your jab. It feels so bad. You're just like, what?
Like,
I hit you. Why am I getting hit?
It's like I shouldn't do this.
Dear.
I can't do this. It's a matchup where you cannot like mash jab 1.
But
like,
I guess we're.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah. I guess we're segued into this a little bit, but like I think Samus's boxing tools and kind of like that scramble situation stuff, like I think it is a sign of a good Samus player, and you know Nick is honestly a lot better than me. Which is being like for scramble situations and up close stuff with like jab or like predicting rolls with down air and stuff like that. That is like a huge like next level thing about playing Samus. I think that a lot of people miss. It's very easy to play Samus at range, at like mid range and at long range, a lot. But I think that having the confidence to do those jab mix ups, even though jab is not safe at all, and like, but you do get a lot of reward once you like. If you're going for like high reward punishes off it as well. But you know, Samus doesn't have as much of a good scramble and footsies game as like a lot of other, especially faster characters, like all the Shotos kind of spring to mind. I feel like whenever you're versing a Shoto or like Kazuya and you're like next to them, you're like, my stuff isn't good. Like I can't do this. Which also, yeah. And then we rely a lot on things like up B to get out of it. But if they've got like that doesn't work all the time, especially for. I don't like sometimes up B clanks or doesn't work against some of the Shoto stuff. It's like a bit weird. It works like decently reliably, but sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. You probably have that experience too, Nick.
Yeah, it just clanks in. Like usually we still have like a hit frame. It's like pretty even in terms of like the trade off in hit frames or whatever it is. But it's not always consistent. You have to like make sure you SDI. Which speaking of like against disadvantage against Samus. Like learning where to DI like after down throw and all that as well, and SDI as well, especially for like when we're up airing you. Because if you hold the wrong direction, if you like SDI in like towards us, then we get more free up airs out of it. If you SDI away, then the best we get is like fair, I guess, off of it. Like we have to kind of finish it early, and then also even for fair, if you SDI, I think it's up and away, then you can fall out of the fair, and then you can get like the end leg of our like last part of fair as well. So that's some other like ideas against.
Yeah, I remember labbing with Hunter like Dugongs about this, and it was apparently so consistent that I didn't find a way to get around it. Anyway, the situation I'm talking about is if somebody's on platform and we start hitting them with fair, I think you can like always DI and you always fall out of it, and you can actually punish Samus out of the end lag on it like very consistently. So that's if you're on the platform, even literally starting to get hit. Like there are some like SDI stuff that you can do with fair that makes it super inconsistent in those situations. But I think in general, playing against Samus, like Nick said, I think especially higher level Samuses are always looking for those panic options out of like down throw. That's like a super big one that people learn like really early on, especially because like up tilt just gives you so much reward at like every percent of the game. I think like if somebody's like at low mid percent and you've got to choose a move to hit them with that's going to hit, you'll probably do up tilt. It does so much damage and links into like everything.
Yeah.
Or down air, I guess. Yeah. And there's so many of those things as well. Like, one thing I like to do is if I have big charge shot, and you down throw or even forward throw and back throw, you'll be like quite surprised.
Yeah.
You can literally forward throw somebody and then just send full charge shot. And if they just mash a button to get out of
Yep.
to get out of tumble, right, you literally
Yeah.
just shoot them out of it. And you can get like really early kills like that way as well. And another thing with the up air, that the 0 to death with like the up air chains.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much like a funky kind of conditioning thing, because if you start the up air and they air dodge, they'll get out of like the follow-ups through all the up airs. It's not true. But if you're constantly like conditioning them early to like wait for the air dodge, then you get the up tilt, then you do whatever. But then if you start conditioning them to either jump or do nothing out of your up airs, like doing that, then you can actually consistently hit like 0 deaths or get like more up air chain extensions than you would normally have, just through that like mix of like, I have a super high punish on your air dodge, and if you do anything else out of air dodge, I also have like another thing to cover that as well. And there's lots of minute setups, especially with down throw, that allow you to do that. So I think the big thing in disadvantage is like, just don't panic, really mix up your options as well. I think that a lot of Samus players are looking for like the bigger thing than their true follow-up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm glad you were talking about DI a little bit, because I don't think we've talked about like how to DI her stuff. I think with throws, especially I think with like up throw, down throw, what are the like good DIs if you don't want to get like take too much damage or straight up die if you're at high percent? Because I think with up throw it's like either out or in, just not down, or it is down and not sideways. And with the other throws, I don't know. Sorry, you go.
No, you're okay. I think for up throw, if I remember correctly, because up throw doesn't send like directly up; it sends up in the way that Samus is facing. So I think the correct DI is just the way that Samus is facing, like straight direct on. I'm pretty sure it might be a little bit down as well.
Look, this is the privilege of playing the character. I honestly don't know, Paul. Like, you can see it when they've done it wrong, because if it's DI'd wrong, you'll literally just be like a straight line, like going straight up. And then oftentimes if they've done it correctly, it's like on a slight angle. I actually forget like which one it is. And honestly, I'm the Samus player. It's like I probably should know this from when I first saw Samus. So like up throw, I'm not particularly sure, unfortunately. For down throw, I think we can give better answers for. I think generally out is like nearly always better for pretty much all the situations. Especially near the ledge, if you DI in or do no DI, you can get like the true down throw back air, which is just like so satisfying to hit. But it is not true if they DI it properly, like unfortunately. Yeah, but I think in most of the cases, it's out. One thing you can DI and SDI out of as well is if you're playing like a lighter floatier character, if you get hit by the up air chains and you DI up and in, you actually get out of it. Like, when I'm versing other Samuses, if they start the up air chains, I'll always consistently get out of like the up air combo. Like, even after the first one, you just DI up and out, and you usually get out of it as well. But apart from that, I mean, Samus's moves hit super hard, like, and often they're just kind of sending you out. Like, you'll end up like in a tricky situation, I think, no matter what DI, unfortunately.
No, that's fair. Because I was just thinking of like maybe if you DI specific ways, you'll especially like at low percents, you're gonna get like comboed, but maybe there's ways to get to take less damage and stuff like that. So out definitely seems very good. The up air SDI also very useful because you're gonna get up it a lot. And I think, what about? Because I'm still thinking about the ledge and like how to get off of the ledge, because that's like the biggest thing in this matchup. And I know you guys are like, oh, maybe, I'm not too sure, but I think because the charge shot itself, if you don't get hit by bombs, it doesn't hit most ledge hangs, if I'm not wrong. So you can just kind of wait a little bit, maybe sometimes just tank one of the bombs and just quickly reset into grabbing the ledge, because exactly they don't have time to set it up again. And in that case, you can kind of just watch what the Samus player does and choose an option that way.
So I don't think because like there's a universal answer in terms of like what's the best option of it. I just will say the worst option is always neutral get up. I think that's always the worst option. But I think like looking at where the bomb placement is and also where Samus is, because like Samus, as I said, can like go into their bombs and have a charge shot, like sorry, a charge attack ready to go as well. Like whether it's down smash or something like that to catch a ledge hand. So if you see like bombs coming down and Samus is trying to do it down, so it's like okay, I can't stick to ledge. I can't wait to see what's happened. So now I actually have to like jump backwards and then go over them. Like that's the time to do that. So like you gotta see where the setup is. If this is a new like the normal setup that Kenny had with the 2 bombs like back with charge shot ready to go, there's like okay, it's probably better just to take these bombs and then like get back to ledge, and that way they have to reset the ledge trap as they can. Or I can just, and if they don't do it too slow, they can just get up attack that because they're now in range of a get up attack. So it is seeing what they're doing with the bombs and where they are and how much charge shot they have. That's like what probably should be the best option. But I do think mixing your options is a good one. But anyway, just try and get back to like center stage as best you can, whether that's going high or like rolling through. It's like the 2 consistent ways I can think of.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of setups realistically, and then you will see the Samus players mix it up like a decent amount. So like as with many things in this game, the key is like really mixing it up a lot. Like Nick said, neutral get up is very rarely something that can be done, but I know it can be done if you are really good at the timing and you have enough invincibility. But usually it's the worst option. And even then, once you've neutral get up successfully, you're still like right there versus Samus. You're probably in range of a grab. Like it's still not a great situation to be in, nonetheless. There are if there is usually an escape option. There's not like a single ledge trap that'll cover everything. Like otherwise we'd just be doing that one every single time, right? They do get a bit iffier with timing as well. I think once people are really comfortable versing Samus, they'll be able to tell also when they've timed the ledge trap and timed the bombs correctly. That's something I can't give much experience to, but I know people that I verse very frequently are familiar with when I've done the timing correctly and when I haven't. And if I haven't done it correctly, they'll be able to like get up attack through and hit me on the way out of like the timing that way. Or they'll be able to like jump through it or get through some other way like that. But really definitely mix it up all the time, especially on a level 1. Don't try neutral get up. But I think like roll and jump are usually ones that we have to preemptively do, I think, or at least have in mind to cover. So they can be good options to choose, but again, we have something in mind around. So
That's completely fair. That's pretty good. What about, because I've just realized we haven't talked about this move at all, but what about Samus's Zair? I feel like it's really good to like snuff out approaches, especially like it's like the fair, but if you want to hit further when they're jumping in, right?
I'm personally a big Zair fan. Like, I don't know. I think that move is such a like it also, so one, it's like a good poke in that kind of range, but the other thing about Zair is it's also the range that you want to be at for a lot of interactions that favor your RPS. So if you're spacing your Zair, you generally end up putting yourself in a favorable neutral position as well. It's the way I've always thought about like using Zair. It does also combo like Zair down to like Zair dash attack. If they're lazy, you can get... I've never hit that. Have you?
I haven't hit it. I saw Cisco. I'm like, that's insane. What do you mean?
Oh my god! I need to try that. Oh my god.
It combos.
Oh my
too.
god!
That's
New
that's
things
an
to write
interesting
down
thing.
on my notes. Yeah. It does combo. It's like really safe. Like Zair is unbelievably safe. I think. If you look at the frame data for it, I don't have it up right now. But it's very safe on shield as well. Which allows you to kind of land fairly safely with it, because it's like even if you land with Zair, like you're kind of fine. I mean, it's honestly it's probably bad, but when I land, I'm probably gonna Zair all the way down, like just for that. Like get out of trouble, like doing things. It's super safe. Like what are they gonna do?
It's just a mid-air jab 1. Like what's wrong with that? You can start another FPS and maybe get a combo.
Yeah.
And
I think the funniest use of Zair for me is. You've probably done this, Nick. It's the funniest thing in the world. But when people are like... Sorry?
when you kill someone like off screen with Zen.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, when people are like really far in the blast zone and you just tickle them with the Zare and it like always kills them, like if they're like
It's
really,
beautiful.
really far at the end. It's that one is so good. Yeah, but and I think as well it has uses for pressuring high recoveries. That's another one I found quite a good use for.
Yeah.
Like kind of like if you're shadowing someone on the way down, you can kind of pressure with Zare. One thing I've noticed is like you can once you're pressuring kind of that high recovery, you can kind of fall down with them and start like threatening charge shot as well for like extra pressure. There's a lot of like I've also routinely sniped double jumps with it, which puts a lot of characters in an awful situation as well. So I really think Zare is a good move, but you really can't rely on it too much. It's a very safe move, but it's not going to win you the game in like any situation.
No,
really.
it does like 3% on one hit. Like there has a certain frame where it'll have 2 hits, so it has a bit more knockback on there, a little bit more damage. But it's just like it's just a little damage. So it can get you a stock by getting an extra push off ledge essentially to like try and snuff someone's recovery, someone catch someone's double jump. It does combo, so it's good like that. But also like it's not something you can consistently do rising unless you think they're going to jump, because it does have a decent bit of like lag to it as well. So if like you do a rising Zare, they can just dash in and like get a free combo off it as well, depending on the character. So
If you
it's
shield,
still a
I
good
think
tool
Rising
to
Zare-
out kid.
Yeah, Rising Zare has very few uses. I think
Yeah,
only
it's always
for like
landing.
it's pretty much landing. You can use it situationally to pressure people on platforms, but I mean, it's like, why would you pressure with it? It's just like 3%. But I mean, if you do, if you want to be super safe, it is something that I've done before. But there are better options if you commit.
Yeah. Also, if you have someone on platform who's shooting, why would you use there where you can just run up and up B and eat through their shield and maybe get a shield break?
Oh yeah, that one's good. Yeah. But I think like if people are like, there are certain situations I found where I'm on the ground and they're just landing on the platform. Like in that situation, and you're too far away to do like a fair or something, you can like dash up, run up there. It's a bit weird. You'll just like tickle that spot and get them off the platform. But it's like this is so situational and so niche, right? But I think the only other rising thing is like for high recoveries and stuff like that, like off the jump you can do it, but other than that, it's not particularly useful. It is very satisfying when you gimp Cloud's jump, though. Specifically.
It's satisfying edge guarding him and killing him at 0.
That is true. That is true.
So I guess we can move on to this final section, which is her evolution in the meta. So I guess real quick we can talk about how she's done since, because she's one of the characters. I'm kind of going through them in order, so we're still in the characters that have been around since 64. 64 the game, not the year. So I feel like the story is she's just been getting, other than like the change between Melee and Brawl, which got a little bit worse, I feel like she's just been getting better and better and better, and now she's the best she's ever been. I think there's an argument about you could put her in like S- tier for Ultimate. I think she's really, really good. Really, really good. I know I'm getting some... that might be a hot take with actual Samus players, and we can talk about that, but I think she's extremely good. So, 64, really bad. And Melee got a little bit better, but she always got a little bit better, like, within each game's meta. I think with 64, she started out, like, second worst or something, and then got around to...
She still is.
to being like kind of good. Melee, maybe she went like a parabola where she was like bad and then better and then bad again. Brawl, I feel like she really didn't do that great. And then four she got some kind of crazy stuff. Like I've seen some, because I've never played Smash 4 competitively at all, but I've seen some clips of dash attack up B killing it like 0. I don't know how that is the case, and I'm glad that's gone, but but yeah, how do you guys feel about the previous games?
In terms of games, like again, I only played it casually, and that was mostly in Brawl. Was like my first real one. I didn't play much Melee in 64. And like she was fine. It was a charge. It was still like an easy character, but like in it from a competitive standpoint from Brawl, from what I've read and seen of like previous gameplay, she didn't do so well. Smash 4, she was still low chat. Like going to ult, just having the ability to charge mid-air, which is something that she didn't previously have in other games, made such a world of difference. like, so if in Smash 4 you couldn't charge shot midair, you had to, if you press neutral B midair, you would just fire it, whatever you had. So having that in like Ultimate is such a huge difference in terms of like mobility as an option, like mix ups, and then like you can do crazy stuff like again like charge shot canceling to tether as a thing now. There's like like her and Ultimate is such about S tier, like or S minus. There's a lot of good characters in this game. I know Samus is good, but I still think A tier is probably like where I would place her.
Yeah, I agree. A tier is where it's at. I think a lot of the especially like it's hard to define some character placements because a lot of people are like based on the kit, based on their neutral, based on the advantage, but then other people are like based on the matchup chart, based on also like what is popular and also based on other really good characters. So like taking all those things into consideration can be a bit rough. And I think especially like the like characters that are universally considered really good, like because I'm in America, I gotta say Steve. Like I've really struggled. I think Samus like hardcore, like that matchup seems so like it's so
really
hard.
bad.
I'm young and naive. I think it's like Steve's just broken always, but I think Samus has tools to deal with it.
Does alright?
Hey man, when I was in O-Tour, I beat you with Steve.
In my limited experience, like going to tournament, that was like locals and friendlies against like local Steves, you know. Like I can imagine playing a top tier Steve, like top level Steve. We don't have anything we can do. We get comboed to everything. Like our approaches get snuffed out. It's hard.
Yeah, I feel like but I mean, you know, for Australia, don't have to care too much about Steve, so that's a good thing. But I still think, I think even for like other characters that are universally considered good, like you don't strictly beat any of them. I think, like, I don't think we beat Rob or beat Snake or beat
looking at like
really think of any.
Because I know that one of the questions that you had for us was like, what matchups like relevant, like meta relevant matchups. We really don't have that many. The only one that I would say probably at the moment is Luigi. We do well.
He is meta relevant at the moment.
Luigi's who just won recent tournaments, and people are like, in 6 months it's going to be the Luigi meta, and like, yes, if Luigi rises up, then it's our time. Then we can beat them. That's how we go. But otherwise, like, looking at top level, like Dora Migi's like what previously ranked number 1. Like, we do so bad into min. There's Game & Watch as well, who can absorb our charge shots. And then there's always, like, those niche Olamars. Like, there's so many threats around that, like, meta-wise, Samus generally doesn't do, like, super well into. So, I don't know if it's going to be a meta-relevant character. It's definitely very niche.
Yeah. You know what? I'll take it back. I think not S minus, dear.
No.
Yeah, I do think if you take out like what's meta and what's not, and you just consider how well she does in terms of the broader character base, like most of the other characters she does quite well against, I will say, which can make her feel absolutely busted if you play one of those characters. But when you're playing, I think any of like the top like meta heavy characters, I feel like none of them particularly struggle versus Samus, except Luigi, of course. But yeah, and so in that kind of vein of understanding character placement, Samus is kind of okay, like pretty decent. Not the best, not the worst.
Yeah, I feel like even with those strong characters though, if you manage to get them like to like win neutral, get them up to the ledge, and then do the ledge traps, I feel like she can still win against those characters in those scenarios. But what do you guys think?
As an example, like Game & Watch is one character who can bypass ledge with up B. They have also bucket, so if you do unsafe bomb pressure at ledge, they can just bucket your bombs. Like, I'm
a bit biased here because I used to play Game & Watch. I love that matchup because I play Game & Watch as well, so I feel like I understand it quite well.
Look, I am winning against Necro, one of our local Game Watchers at the moment, in terms of like our set record.
Yeah, true.
But I don't take it for granted. I know it's like something that you have to really focus on and all that. Like, it's something that the Samus has to think more about what they're doing with charge shot and like when they can.
Yeah. That's also very true. And I know that Mia like really destroys every Samus but he destroys half the world. So
you've played Mia?
Yeah, I played Mia at TGX when he came to Australia. That was
true.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that.
I've got footage of it somewhere because I think Honk recorded it. But
I'd like to see that.
Destroyed. We get like they got back it, they convert it easily. You're off stage at any time. Like Game & Watch Bear is so hard to get past. Like our recovery, is a decent mix up with bombs and all that, but if we don't have jump, it's actually kind of super linear. So like that's I think another disadvantage of Samus. If you take away our jump, like yes, we have bombs, we can like weave back and forth and all that. But if you just go out and like hit us with another hitbox, like we probably just die.
Yeah, especially one as big and active and lingering as Game & Watch backhead. That just kills.
That would do it.
Just kills. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see how that would.
Game & Watch is definitely
really
one of the
bad.
best at edge guarding.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I guess that kind of leads into like another question that I had is: do you think that you need secondaries if you're gonna play Samus competitively, or is she herself a good secondary? Like, how do you guys feel about that conversation?
I think, like, if you want to win a tournament, that you probably should pick up a secondary, just because the matchups that she does have, like maybe doable. It's not like a consistent doable. You know, if you run into like any of your bad matchups and you're not super familiar with it, and they're like also like high level players, that you're probably going to end up losing that matchup. So having a secondary to cover that is probably the way to go. I don't necessarily have the time, and I don't know if I'm like gun for winning every tournament, so I'm kind of happy with just Samus and like middling with my other like characters and pockets like me, Brawler, and all that. But I think if you wanted to like internationally do it, I think you'd have to have a very specific bracket path to like actually win a major or win a tournament.
Yeah, I think Samus. The good thing about Samus, and this again goes back to meta placement, right? Is I think that all of her absolute worst matchups are quite rare. So that being like Duck Hunt, Duck Hunt and Olimar to me are like the two that feel absolutely miserable. Like I feel like they're like absolutely impossible. No matter what level, it's like always like really really hard to do.
I'm deluded
so I
about
think
Duck Hunt.
that.
But that's because we don't have any in Victoria, so unfortunate. I'm sure that would change if I go
I
to
have
Sydney
like
as
you
well.
should go to
I have
Sydney.
like
I know you
3, 4. Oh my god!
Dude, you guys had so many. It's crazy.
I know. Duck Hunt. I play it so often, and honestly, when I see Duck Hunt in my path, I'm like, oh, yeah,
GG's
that's
next
how
time.
it goes. To be fair, I should work. Like I am in the same vein as Nick. You know, I haven't had the time, and I guess to be honest, like we haven't really had this discussion, but for me, like playing Samus, a big part of it is because I am like, I'm quite busy nowadays, full-time work, like don't have a lot of time to sit around in training room. And I think that like Samus is an easy, like I don't think Samus is a super easy character. I think that learning the movement stuff and learning all of that stuff takes a little bit of time to pick up. But I think once you've got all of that down, you'll do like pretty well. Like, and you can be really creative with the character after that, which I also enjoy. But it really, like, it isn't a character I think that you need to constantly be in training room learning new stuff every 2 seconds. So that's a part of why I play Samus nowadays, to be honest. It's a full-time work character, as I like to say. But yeah, but in terms of having a secondaries, I definitely agree. I think it is necessary versus a lot of characters. Like I said, Duck Hunt, Olimar. I personally put Steve up there, but because I'm in America. But I haven't really thought about that too much. Yeah, and I'm not sure honestly what character I would pick. I think that's like something for the individual player to see what they like and what they how they like to play the game as well. So.
Yeah. I think that's a very good thought. Now I think this is a very fun part for the listeners, but I think which players in Oz, Samus players, would you guys give shout outs to? Like who's up and coming, who's doing well, what do you admire about? Because even if you're like rankings wise better than those players, you still see some stuff that they do that you're like, oh, that's actually pretty cool, and like you can learn from them as well. So the two that I have here, maybe there's more that I'm like forgetting, and if so I apologize, but Apricot from New South Wales, like he's been doing pretty well, and also not as active at the moment, but So Milk Melva in Vic, I think she's crazy. I think she chooses to lose, but if she chose to win all the time, I think she'd win all the time.
Right, but okay. So I've played them both recently. You probably speak more on Apricot. I only played them at Arcadian, and I was very mean to them. I'm so sorry.
I watched that. You were very mean.
Not Apricot. No,
I was teabagging.
That's my god.
But yeah, like they both. But in terms of both of them, they both are like very clean traditional Samuses. I feel like they both got their bread and butters down pretty well. And even Soy McMother is doing stuff that I should probably do more. Like they'll go for like down B into down air at ledge. I'm like, that's crazy that you're doing. That's so cool. But like for Soy McMother, like they're still in the phase of like I must upbeat everything. They're near me. I will upbeat. I'm like, no, not when they're near you. When they're like touching you with a move and all that, that's when you upbeat. But she's actually like really good. Like if she gets past that, like her combos are so clean. Her combo routes, her ledge trapping is like actually really good. Like she will, with me getting old enough, she'll definitely pass me easily one day.
Because the last time you guys played, I think it was Pixel 300. It went to game 5, didn't it? Or game 3? It was the best of 3, best of 5? But it was really close, if I recall.
I was kind of messing around a lot.
Oh, never mind then.
But no, she it was game 5. She did push me to it, and like there were definitely times that she was doing well, but I remember also playing like, what if I hit up B like 5 times in a row? So it wasn't great. But no, she is actually like really good, and like once she gets through those bad habits, like she'll be a top friend. I can see it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think, for the longest time, Apricot has been my absolute goat. Like, I've played with Apricot so much. Like, we've really talked and discussed about Samus a lot. And, I really think to the point where, as I was, like, leaving Sydney, Apricot actually has a 2-0 record on me now. So, actually, in bracket, he is strictly better than me right now.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah, and Apricot was also the last player I ever versed in Australia to knock me out of bracket.
Great.
Which, to be honest, is quite like poetic and cathartic.
It's a good send-off,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's nice, and I like have absolute respect for that guy. He really like works to get better at the game and enjoys it. He's a really nice guy, so I think he's absolutely a player I'll give a shout out to. And I'm very, very proud of how he's gotten better. Because I've really seen him go from being like O2 every week to right now being ranked in New South Wales, and he's put a lot of effort in. I really think he plays the game very well and plays Samus very, very well. It's like he really can get a feel for people's pressure and how to capitalize off it better than a lot of definitely better than me. I feel like I do too much safe stuff on Samus, which can be my weakness. I think that like going for harder stuff and getting earlier stuff is something I need to do a lot more, and he's a lot better than me at doing that. Yeah, so definitely somebody I'll give a shout out to. And I honestly can't say at the moment that he has any weaknesses that I strictly don't have either, so...
Oh, well, very interesting. Is there anyone else that I'm perhaps missing?
I think that's all the Samuses in Australia. Well, I don't know.
No, I know of someone
like,
called a player called Appleman. I don't know where they're from, if it's New South Wales or if it's Queensland or even Perth. But I know
I've heard of them.
I saw them at Floating Point. I think they beat Lime, but yeah.
There's also a few others I could think of, but like they're more old heads. Like there was White Pointer. I think they were also in New South Wales.
Oh, White Pointer.
Oh, and
like, White Pointer is New South Wales.
And Wisdom as well, right? From like really early on.
White Pointer has been around since like the start.
Yeah, because like I still occasionally see them like on the Samus Discord. I'm like, there's still messages. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember playing you like a long time ago. Because I think we played at like one of my first majors, which was Floating Point. So that was cool. Otherwise, all the other like Samuses I can think of, like most of them are like not playing the game or retired, but they're still very cracked at the game if they choose to play. Like Kai Kimura is still very good, obviously getting a top 8 placement in Australia for like a major. Fen, with all his clips, he does some really cool stuff with Samus as well, like going for like deep bears with like the tether cancel stuff. It's crazy to see. But yeah, there's not many of us in Australia. I definitely like with Samuses, so hopefully there's
the other one I've forgotten is somebody who may or may not be myself, which is Rat Dog from online, who has come to a few tournaments offline as well. But I won't go into the fact that he may or may not be me. Believe that.
What does that even mean, though?
But I think
your identity is sunglasses on, hood up, mask on.
It's a bit of a New South Wales meme. Don't worry about it. But I think there was somebody on the tip of my tongue as well, and now it's just like gone out of my mind. I have to think about it.
I mean, I've looked at like enough like Samus rankings on like the AuSmash like ranking thing.
Oh,
true,
like, yeah.
See all the Samus things. I'm like, where am I right now? Am I now number 1? Yes, I finally got enough healing to pass Kai Kimura.
Nice. I guess didn't back in the day I used to watch like Jiro play Samus as well. That was
Samus
like
is very good. He plays it in
if you guys are
doubles.
Samus on ruins, he plays Samus so good compared to me.
But I mean, yeah, I think that it is. I'm trying to think of anybody else who plays Samus as a main or a secondary, but I think in Australia it is pretty rare. I will say in America, playing online, it is very common. I think not specifically, and really not specifically playing like that kind of like Wi-Fi B button only Samus. It's like proper. I'm engaging in every way. Like I play neutral properly. I mix up everything. Like
That's so
I
cool.
approach a lot kind of Samus, and I feel like whenever I go online, if I spend an hour online, I've had 100% like I'll run into a Samus somewhere kind of like popularity. So I think that is a little bit of a small difference between here and Australia as well.
Yeah, I guess. Before we finish up, do you guys think any like closing thoughts you have on Samus as a character?
She's pretty cool. I'll probably keep playing her while I'm playing Ultimate. In terms of closing thoughts, do you also mean like where she'll go in the future for like both Australia or internationally?
Yeah, that too.
Internationally, Siskui is crazy. So is Yara. Like they're both really good in character at the game. I think like they'll still kick in top 8s for sure. Winning the major in like this year or next year, doing the bracket luck again, I think it's very doable. Like for either one of them, like they're both really good. The problem with Yara is like he's in Japan and there's like Mia's there, Akola's there. There's like so many hard matchups that they'd have to come across, even Doramigi. So it'd be hard for them. As for locally, well, there's like again only so many of us, and I am not particularly grinding anymore. If I get like a top 8 at a monthly, I'm pretty happy. That would be my goal for the year.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, in Australia, looking at like who's in PR and whatever, I think that Samus does like fairly decently. I mean, in my local scene at least, I always felt like the PR was honestly the mid-level was hard. Like the mid-level matchups I'd find specifically, not like the players, but the mid-level matchups are a lot harder than the PR matchups. So in that, like for that, I think that Samus does pretty well, and I think that in the local scene you can do really well. I think internationally. I still think Samus has what it takes, but I really think that the hard matchups are becoming more popular and even more polarizing. So I think that is really something hard going forward internationally, unless there are breakthroughs in how the matchups are played. Or, I mean, we often rely on top players to kind of look at those matchups and see how to play them right. So, you know, if they come about, I think that maybe we can have a better chance. You know, it may be possible, like even Luigi, right? Like people thought that character's neutral was so bad and, you know, you can just snuff him out with a lot of stuff, but obviously on the rise again. And Luigi's advantage has always been ridiculous, right?
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of the improvements in that character as well have been minute changes to their neutral. So I do have some hope that maybe, you know, if some of the players of Samus can also like find those minute things that make those matchups a little bit easier, then maybe we have a better shot as well. But I really do think if you're playing Samus right now in your local scene, I think you have a very good shot at doing very well. And I think another thing about Samus, I think, is for me, I feel a lot of like really good just playing the character. Like, right, when you do something like sick with your movement and like you put up like a high pressure movement situation, you can really play Samus and be like, damn, that was sick, right? And I think that there are some characters that there are honestly some characters that this is different for every person, right? But like if I'm playing a random character, there are some characters I'm like, I probably can't do anything that I personally feel that cool about playing. But I think like you can really personally feel very good playing Samus, and I think that's another benefit the character has.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
100%. I think they definitely feel very nice to play. They're very fun, which is like why I play her sometimes. Maybe one day she'll be bracket ready, but we'll see. Well, yeah, I think that might be enough to wrap up this episode. So thank you both for taking the time. I know it was really hard to schedule for the listeners because, you know, Nick working all the time and Kenny being in the US of A. So yeah,
Other side of the world.
Yeah, it was really fun. I hope you guys had fun. So tune in for the next episode, which I mean, poetically, we'll be talking about Yoshi. Whoa! They don't know that I've already recorded that episode, but whoa! Slim Boy and I will be very excited to bring Yoshi up to the world. So, thank you very much, and hope you're excited to see that. So, hopefully, see you all later.
Bye.
See you guys.